Okay, so we have been called out to one of our favourite contractors, a guy called Mike, who runs a really cool sheetrock repairing company, who we'll put a link to because I've forgotten what it's called right now. But he was calling, panicking. He's like, these lights have stopped working. I used a heat gun for a second. I think I've melted the wires. Freaking out, worrying. He tried to fix it himself. The client's here right now looking, and he's like, well, let me know, we'll do whatever you need to. I'm like, mate, it'll probably be all right. I get here, and it's just a classic story of some backstabbing terminations, which always cause lovely fun. The great thing actually is when I got here, the issue of the lights not working and him freaking out has actually stopped happening, and they're working. The sod's law, as we call it, of the electrician showing up and it all being fine, gives me nothing to fix, in theory. Except when you know how to do testing. So, right now we're opening the switches at the top of the stairs to look at the connections. Now, backstabbing terminations are what you can see here, where this wire is poking in. Here you go. The problem with backstabbing is they're easier to pull out, and as time flows, I know I can't pull that one, of course, but the point is, when electricity flows through these, it creates heat, it generates heat, which makes the prong here expand, then it stops being used, so it turns off and it goes cold and cools. And then you do that hundreds and hundreds of times over the years of it expanding and contracting, expanding, contracting, expanding, contracting. And the tension between this here and the little prong that's poking it in starts to weaken, which causes a weak connection. So what's happened is Mike's come through doing his work, and he's either knocked something, or maybe using his heat gun, really what it's done is generate a slightly bit of heat, which has caused something to expand somewhere and pop out. Really what we can also find is when we're checking boxes like this, first we want to be careful of damaging things, but we're looking at the connections inside. These ones here, let me just grab something safely. All it takes is for one of these wire nuts to not be made up properly. We've got an issue. Thankfully, that's a really good connection there. Having it actually twisted, make sure that they go on for American standard anyway. These look good. These switches appear to be functioning as they should. These terminations look okay. It does become quite frustrating when you show up to fix something and there's nothing broken, but that's the story of an electrician's life. So when we see these, we do recommend replacing them and changing it to a termination that goes around it. We do this to cover ourselves mainly. The annoying thing about this is this could work for another 20 years and have no issues, or it could overheat and break tomorrow. And I can't give you a time in between those two things. So we just give people options on what they want to do. No one really wants to go change a bunch of receptacles and switches, but when you start having issues with a circuit, sometimes we recommend doing a circuit restoration for that one, because I can't tell you which part of the circuit is causing the issue. You start at the breaker, then you go to a switch, light, receptacle, and it keeps going through, and it takes one bad connection at any point of that circuit to make the rest downwind start flickering and having issues. So right now we're going through, we're checking these connections, we're checking switches and receptacles. Generally, with receptacles, which we'll see in a second, the neutrals being poked in like this can lead to flickering and issues. Generally, you're going to see more issues with a neutral than you are with a live. These switches look good. Let's look at the next thing. Yeah? Yep. Okay, so now we're taking a receptacle on the same circuit. As you can see, as I'm working on it, the sheetrock repair guys have just, well, sheetrock repair guys, painters, have covered stuff like they always love doing. So I have to be careful not to damage the sides as I pull this out too much. But inevitably, I'm going to break things because that's what electricians do. So, right now, I'm looking at these neutrals here. Little yank, feels alright. Little yank, feels alright. all it takes is for one of these to not be making a connection and the circuit's causing issues. What am I doing here? I'm playing with my tester to see what kind of readings it gives me. Interesting. The focus of this year will be on resistance readings. So a big part of American electrical training is that they don't really teach anything on resistance values, fault loop impedance, and I think it's a big issue, and it's the thing I'm going to be focusing on this year, so we're going to talk more about it. I'm going to be right now I'm playing out on my cheap tester while I get used to the readings it's telling me, and I get ready to present more information about these, but if you keep watching, you'll see us talk more about it. So we're going to keep looking at receptacles as we keep going, and we'll talk more about testing as we keep recording. So this is the circuit that we're working on today: foyer, bed, bath hall, front light porch. The thing that people always do, the first conclusion everyone jumps to is the circuit breaker must be broken. If it's tripping, it's doing its job. Generally, 9 times out of 10, it's not the breaker that needs to be changed, it's the circuit that has an issue that needs to be repaired, and the breaker's protecting you. So the person who tried to repair this before, Mike, who we mentioned, his first option was change the circuit breaker. So he's spent a bunch of money on something that didn't need to be done. So we're just going to replace this and put the old one back in. It would be hilarious now if we put it in and it starts tripping and causing issues, but we want to make sure and see, and it doesn't look like, from what we've inspected, that there's an issue with this circuit due to the breaker, so I'm just going to confirm that now. This is a CH Eaton brand. This is one of the worst brands that I don't like because the curve braking on these circuit breakers is unreliable, and generally it takes quite a high trip to make one of these breakers go. When I say high trip, I mean high amperage in a fault current to make one of these circuit breakers trip. Sometimes they don't even trip, which makes me a bit uncomfortable, but they're still allowed to be installed, and most of the time they do work. So shouldn't worry too much about it, Harrison. This here is an old style up fault with a fly lead neutral. This here is called a PON. It's a circuit breaker no one asked for that creates more issues because these neutrals here, this has to connect onto the neutral bar, and sometimes it doesn't make a good connection. So it may have been the circuit breaker having this connection here, and this neutral connection may have made it, but we'll see. I'm just being biased towards these breakers that I don't like because they're not a very good design. But it's not really good for a client to hear you saying these things while you're recording a video in their house, but I don't want to scare people. It'll still work and it is still fine and it's still loud. It's just not a very good quality of brand. And like the prices of changing panels, it's just, I wouldn't recommend changing a panel of this brand because you're not going to get much better quality either. So for the money that you'd invest anyway. And there's other things people could spend their money on. See, that has to slot on, which is a terrible design. That goes on there, as you hear it click. That goes on there. We turn on. And like professionals, we're going to test and make sure it has mains voltage. I used to be a Fluke man, but then the representative from South Carolina and North Carolina ghosted me and was super rude, so I don't use Fluke for my lower things anymore. I just have a giant Fluke tester that I spent $4,000 on. So I guess I am Fluke's bitch. Turning it to voltage. And then I'm testing here and here. It's not good volts. She hasn't made a good connection. So he might have fixed it when he did the breaker. Oh, there you go. There's a voltage. The voltage confirmed. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. So the circuit breaker's on. It is functioning. We've checked it. I don't like that neutral connection, but that's just me being really electrician nerdy. The connection's good. The breaker's good. The circuit's functioning, and we're good. So if you want a little bit of fun, I am dying to throw a piece of metal in between here. If this and this were to touch together, it go boom. Really unsafe design. So I'm going to be talking about those a lot. This bus bar here is fused onto it, like mounted on and can't be replaced, and it's designed to overheat and cause issues. So it's called a friction bus bar. If you want to go Google look, friction connections aren't good for electrical installations. So what I would like is a terminal that connects to it, but there's a phrase, peeing in the wind, and I'm probably asking for too much. So that's enough of a little nerdy rant on the quality of brands here. And keep watching, we'll keep doing. Hey Mike, it's Harrison, how you going, mate?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
So we've got here, we've looked at it. Yeah, that heat gun melted the whole circuit. It needs to be completely rewired.
Who's messing with you?
Everything's fine, mate. When we got here, it was already working. So we spoke to him. He's absolutely fine. There's a thing called backstabbing terminations, where you have the wires poke into prongs and it leads to a weak connection. So actually everything was working when we got here. We checked the circuit breaker and we've changed that one back. The original one works fine. So I don't know if you want us to drop that circuit breaker to you or if you want to come and collect it, but we can have that one for you so you can save yourself a bit of money there as well. Basically everything's fine, mate. Like, we've recommended to him, if the issue comes back, that we replace his receptacles because they have that backstabbing terminations and it's normally the neutral connection in one of them. So all it takes is one connection in one receptacle to lead to the other parts of the power, like circuit, having issues. And that's what he's got going on here. But right now, everything seems fine. We've checked a bunch of terminations. The connections inside of his switches and receptacles are good. He's happy and fine. Everything's working, and there's no need to worry.
Well, awesome, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
You can, if you want to, I don't care, whatever's easier. If you want to leave it there, if not, if Rachel can take the breaker and I'll run into her on Friday.
Yeah, perfect.
On Friday and I'll
Exactly.
you guys.
So another one sorted, mate.
I appreciate it, brother. You guys have a good day. Send me the bill and I'll take care of you guys.
Thanks, mate. You have a good day too. Talk soon.
All right.
Bye. You know, some jokes land, some don't. People's houses burning down, they don't find funny when you're not an electrician, and I forget my sense of humour sometimes. So, yeah, it was fun scaring him though. New Yorkers, they always deserve it.
You're so rude.
Only about New Yorkers.
Okay, it's going.
How do you know if someone's from New York?
How?
Don't worry, they'll tell you. This joke. How do you know when someone from New York is someone is? Oh, I can't tell a joke to save my life. Cut.